Hello, everyone. This is Ronnie Romero, and you are watching CMS TV.
From the Master of the Rings release, it's Halloween with Take Me Home, dude. And could you imagine a more, I'm not going to say it's a direct ripoff, but more influenced song from Van Halen, Hot for Teacher?
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
It sounds a lot like Hot for Teacher for me, but that's just me. But what do I know? I've only been listening to this shit for over 40 years.
Yeah, so you're wrong.
Yeah. And we also heard Lily and Axe there with Misery Loves Company for the Mississippi Truck Driver. And we heard from Skippy, a band called Another Lost Year with a song called Wolves. I'm not familiar with them at all. Are you familiar with Another Lost Year?
No.
Crappy
I feel
band.
like that every year, but
Yeah. Crappy band name. It sounded good though.
Yeah.
But
yeah, not bad.
Yeah, there you are. So anyway, coming out of the fun and frivolity of the last segment, which I know you're going to go deep into the rabbit hole tomorrow when you have time.
Oh yeah.
Go, what kind of fucking shit is available out here?
Oh yeah, I'll probably spend 6 hours just doing nothing but
you'll just go, oh, there's another one. There's another one. Who shit in my car?
Too good.
I just got so lost in that yesterday. I was just like, holy shit, I just spent 2 hours listening to these whack ass songs.
Yep.
And they're not even real.
And I cannot even put myself into being a drip like Jackal.
Right.
It's not good.
Well,
just
you know what?
enjoy it. It's fun.
Here's the reality of it. Somewhere down the road and not too far away, we're talking 12 to 24 months.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere is going to come up with something that they're going to claim is a Deep Purple Lost track.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to put it out there, and Jackal's going to listen to it, and he goes, yep, that's definitely Deep Purple. That's definitely Richie Blackmore's guitar solo. That's his style. That's definitely him. It's like, holy shit, how did I miss this after 50 years of listening to Deep Purple? How did I miss this Lost track?
Yep.
And
then it'll be from 2025.
Yeah, of course. It won't be far away, and he's gonna fall for it because,
of course,
fortunately and unfortunately, this stuff is gonna get so good, and it's problematic. It really is. It's problematic for us as people. We're not going to know what's real and what's not real.
Right.
That's the problem. So, but even a guy like Jackal is going to be fooled. He's going, yeah, that's definitely Richie. That's definitely Richie's riffs. I know the Pilgrim, man. That's his riff, man.
I can hear the strain in his pinky. Only he does that. Shut it.
That's his groove, man. Nobody else can mimic that. No way.
And then he'll look like a turd.
Right, of course. I, for one, I find it exciting and terrifying at the same time. Because this could just go way beyond just the fun and what do you want to call practical use. It always goes into the evil.
It's going to go. You can't say it could. It's going to go.
It goes into the evil all the time.
And this will too.
Yep, of course it will.
There will be some way, somehow, that somebody finds a way to use it to take over the world. Or
of course.
Launch the nukes all over the place. Of course. You know that shit's going to happen. We're going back to the dinosaur age.
Yeah, man.
Well, Jim will feel real happy with that too.
Yeah, I don't want to get all philosophical here, but you got into theology
Sure.
at some point. So growing up in a very conservative households, very religious household, we always, I was taught from a very biblical standpoint about, you know, Armageddon and the end of the world and, the rapture and
Right.
all these things. And, they always talked about the Antichrist all the time, the Antichrist.
Sure.
And it's going to be this person who rises up and he's going to be the Antichrist and he's going to be the one who leads the world into destruction and a one world government and all this other things. And so on the other hand, I was always raised that we all have a soul and we all have a choice. We all have a choice between good and evil. And you have a choice to either choose heaven or hell. And, this is why metal music has always been maligned because of the implications of the demonic and all this other stuff. This is why our parents were always fearful of this, because they exploited the things that were of biblical teachings, heaven and hell. In fact, of course, Ronnie James Dio, one of the greatest metal vocalists of all time, sang a song, Heaven and Hell. And of course, when they relaunched Black Sabbath under the Dio, they called it Heaven and Hell because it was the most notorious song that they ever produced with Ronnie James Dio.
Right.
But as a kid, I was always taught that, well, you have a choice between the evil and the divine, or the heaven and the hell. You can choose to go to heaven or you could choose to go to hell. And, everyone has a soul and, on and on and on. And so then I was taught, well, there's going to be this one person who rises up and he's going to lead everyone into destruction and he's going to go to hell because, so on and so forth. And I go, well, doesn't that remove the choice from that person? That person is like a sacrificial lamb. This person, whomever that is, who's
Joe Biden,
the Antichrist, well, whether it's Joe Biden or anybody else, they don't have a choice. They're just elected to be the person who goes to hell. So they don't have the choice. Well, now that there's the rise of AI, the person who, quote unquote, leads us into destruction, into Armageddon, leads us into the end of all. It's just an AI figure.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't have a soul. So that kind of makes sense. Here we are, decades into my understanding, according to the way that I was brought up or taught, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
There's no sacrificial lamb there at all. It's just a computer generated person, thing, being, whatever you want to call it, who, for unfortunate reasons, people are going to be bought into this thing and go, well, yeah, that leader, whoever that is, or whatever that is a AI generated thing.
It's fucking Skynet, baby.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. Who knew the Terminator was the actual?
I know. And what's funny is whoever invented the Terminator or the movies and stuff, they had so much of that right way back in 1984.
Yeah.
If you watch the Terminator and understand everything that they talked about in that movie, they were predicting something that was going to happen 40 years later.
Well, that would be James Cameron.
There you go. So he had a vision for what could be and what will be.
Well, he's always had sort of that vision. If you watch Avatar, if you watched, didn't he do The Abyss, the water one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he always had that vision.
And it's come full circle. Here we are. We're here at this point.
Yep. We're doomed. Thank God we're old.
So, regardless of your beliefs or your, your upbringing or whatever it is that you were taught. But that's my take from what I've understood, or
Sure.
at least what I was taught. And, I never bought into it. Never did. Never bought into it. I was always questioned, like, well, you're not a good Christian man. You're not a good Christian boy. It's like, well, it's not that I'm not a good Christian boy, whatever that is. It's just that I have questions.
Yeah. Dude, I went through the same shit. I mean, I'm educated in biblical studies, and that makes it even worse when you dare challenge it.
Yeah, I know. And that's the whole thing. It's just like, well, why are you questioning this? You should just follow this blindly.
Follow your teachings. I can't tell you how many times I heard that.
I have questions. Why is this way? And why is that way? And more often than not, never got a real answer.
No, because there is no real answer.
Because you should have faith.
Yeah, shut up. Stop it.
It's like, we live in a world that we don't understand. There's forces at work there that we're not aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm tired of the answers always, well, you can't understand and blah, blah. Shut up.
No, you can understand. It's just that we're not privy to that information.
Well, they always say, oh, why did that baby die? Well, you can't understand God's will. No, what I understand is God's will is shitty sometimes. That's what I understand.
If indeed it was God's will, or we're just beings that could be wiped out in a second.
Yeah. Dude, I cannot tell you how mad I got when I was in the hospital for the burn accident.
Sure.
And everybody would come in and go, yeah, man, God must have been watching out for
Really?
you.
Really?
I was like, yeah, well, he fucking blinked. He wasn't watching out for me for at least 1 second of the day. And then that was always met with, well, you got to understand the bigger picture, which you'll never, because God's wisdom is infinite and you'll never be able to. Shut up. If I can't understand it, why the fuck would I follow it?
Sure.
It's fucking dumb.
I
can't
agree.
understand something. Why would you follow? I don't understand Barack Obama. Therefore, I didn't follow him.
Well, again, I'm going to share something very personal to me. I know I don't want to make this show heavy. I really don't. I'm just throwing this out there just from the AI standpoint,
right?
That we're in ever-changing society just due to advances in technology and whatnot. But
right.
40 years ago yesterday, no, 39 years ago yesterday, July 5th, 1985, my mother, who was a very religious person, very religious, just she would never utter the word shit, even if she had a mouthful of it. She was killed in a car wreck.
Right.
Couldn't know a more Christian woman to quote typo negative.
Right.
She was like devout religious woman, and she perished in a car accident. And it's just like, well, God decided to call her home.
Yeah, stop it.
And it's like, well, she was here. She represented very well. She never did anything untoward, if you will,
right,
that I'm aware of. But yet somehow God decided to take a religious woman home, as it were.
Right.
Why her? Why today?
And why through a windshield or whatever instead of in your sleep or whatever? That's comfortable.
Regardless of that, if she was that influential, why wouldn't she continue to be here to spread the good word, as it were? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead, we remove somebody who was a representative of all things that were good. Was removed from the mortal coil, as it were. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And but there's always the answer that's not necessarily true.
So the question is so what was the reason for this? And the reason is, well, her death may have led someone else to the Lord.
Oh, good. That
So,
makes me feel better, right? That makes you feel great, right?
Well, the whole sacrificial lamb. She was a sacrificial lamb, but she would have celebrated the fact that she gave her life to bring someone else to the Lord.
She walked in Jesus's sandals. Shot it.
But that's the whole thing. We all rationalize these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's not true. I'm just saying that this is the rationalization that is preached to us or given to us or whatever the case may be. Again, I don't know. I'm not a scholar. I have no idea. I can't look deeper into the, whatever it is that we're involved with here. Why am I here? Why are you here? Why am I able to do this show every Saturday for the last 30 years? We don't do righteous things here. We certainly don't.
God had a reason.
Well, we do things that we think are entertaining, are funny, relate to our lives, maybe are relatable to the people who listen to us. Whatever the case may be, will our content ever be enshrined in the Heaven Hall of Fame? I don't think so.
Nope.
But we're still allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Allowed. I use that term, allowed.
Well, the Lord's allowing it.
That's my point. So why are we allowed to continue doing this when my mother, who was, in all, practical terms, a righteous soul, taken off the earth?
Yeah. Because there's no rhyme or reason to it. Because
that's my point.
It's all fucking nonsense.
That's my point. So,
as an educated guy in religion, it's all fucking nonsense. That's my take.
So anyway, I just wanted to just kind of pay tribute to my mother, who perished in a car accident 40 years ago or 39 years ago yesterday.
That's always a bummer to hear, man. I mean, it's always, and I'm sure every July 5th, it's a bummer for you. But
yeah, exactly. But I don't sit there and mourn it on July 5th. It's just, well, this was that day. I remember that day. I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
I remember that call I got. I was at work. My dad called me at work. He was just like, you need to come here to Akron General Hospital. And I'm just like, why? What's going on? He goes, well, your mother was in an accident. Okay. Is she okay? I don't want to talk about it right now. Just get over here. That's all I got.
Wow.
So I told my boss, hey, I got to leave. My mother was in an accident. My dad called. I got to go.
Right.
That's all I remember.
Brutal.
Yep. So
brutal, man.
But again, you go, well, so if this was for the greater good, what was the greater good here?
Yeah, well, who knows? Well, the greater good, I'm going to give you a greater good. The greater good was it gave you somehow the spark to do this, which has helped our good friend Dan Pate.
All right, let's hear this.
Dan, who at one point about 3 weeks ago checked into hospice, for God's sakes.
Sure.
He has recovered enough to where he started to do rehab for redoing walking and stuff.
Very good.
Which I'm amazed. I mean,
because he was basically posting that he was a goner.
He sent me a private message, which I will not share.
Okay.
But I'll share it with you, but I won't share it on the show because it was private. But basically saying, the long and short of it is thank you for everything you do. You gave me a lot of hours of entertainment, and you always acted like a friend, me and you.
Okay.
And and that was really nice. But I mean, he was checking out, and I mean, I was keeping track of it sort of on Facebook, and I mean, it was people were coming in to see him one last time before he died, and then he had the day where he went from being at home or being in hospice to being home. Like he quit hospice because he wanted to die in his own house. And like, it's really...
He just decided it was time to check out.
He decided he was going on his terms, which I do applaud. Look, if you're going out, you go out your way, not somebody else's way. And then all of a sudden, I was watching some of his posts, and some of his posts were, I can't hold down a scoop of yogurt. And I was like, oh boy, his system's shutting down. And at one point, his buddy that was keeping his stuff on Facebook updated posted the same thing, that his organs are shutting down. This is probably it, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, he started with, I held down some food, and I held down a little more. And maybe 2 weeks ago, they took the feeding tube that was inserted through his abdomen directly into his gut, and they took that out. And the other day I saw him, they hooked I don't know what you call this thing, but it's like a walking wheelchair type thing.
Okay.
Where it like hooks around your stomach. It looked like it had wheels on it, but it's also on a sort of a track, so that you start moving your legs and get range of motion and shit.
Just kind of a rehab apparatus.
Yeah, to restart the process of, and for people that don't know, our friend Dan had a pretty nasty stroke. A stroke that they thought was going to kill him. But he's coming back.
Well, he decided that, you know what? I'm going to overcome this.
Yeah, and he is. And bravo to him. And I will say it's weird seeing him with hair. Because he let his hair grow, obviously. Because he probably just didn't give a fuck.
He always kept his hair very close cropped.
Yeah, well, now he's got like, not long hair, but hair.
Sure.
Which I've never seen in the 20 years or whatever that we've known Dan. So, but yeah, good on Dan. There's your other side, I guess, is somebody we know that we thought was a goner is fighting back.
Yeah, he had the will to overcome.
Mm-hmm. And while I don't want to say we had anything at all to do with it, because we did not.
I don't even think that for a second.
But if he took even an ounce of positive from us talking about him and our fans giving a shit about him or whatever, that's great. That's fantastic.
Well, that goes back to that. I don't remember the author of the book, but it's called The Power of Positive Thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically goes, what you think about, you bring about.
Right.
So if you think about negative shit, you bring around negative shit. You think positive shit, and I've got to be honest with you, I've been on a positive trajectory for the last decade, for the last 10 years.
That'd be Dr. Norman Vincent Peale.
Okay. So I've been on a very positive trajectory for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
My life has been very good for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Very good.
Dude, me since the divorce.
And I don't think negatively. I've eliminated people from my life that have been negative impacting, people who bring me down, people who have just, kind of been a drag. And I've just eliminated them. Like, you're gone. You're done. You're out of my life. You're done. And unfortunately, that even includes family members.
Yeah, you got to sometimes. You have to. But dude, if you don't fix yourself, ain't nobody going to help you. That's why I don't really buy into the whole spiritual thing about, well, if you just pray every day, then no, you got to fix your shit.
Right.
Dude, where I was when I was getting divorced.
Sure.
I was on the fast train to fucking death. Between the drinking all the time and the fucking around with the guns and everything else, I was on the fast track to putting a bullet in my skull. And, now I've done so many cool things and, the books and Pinball PA and all the businessy type things and
the show.
This show, the other shows, all the shows.
Yeah.
Building the network, learning video, building a TV shit. I've done so many cool things, and it's just like you said, it's because I don't put negatives, I don't put roadblocks up anymore. Now it's like there is no more, well, I can't do that, or I don't know how to do that, or I can't learn, or whatever. It's just that guy did it, so I can fucking do it. So I do it. You know,
I agree.
and I've never been happier in my life than I am literally now. Never. I mean, you know, dude, I was never happy. Happy?
That's why you got the moniker Angry Aiken.
Yeah, there was no happy. There was. I mean, even if you listen to the old show, there was a lot of ha-ha moments. But if you really analyze those ha-ha moments, they stemmed from absolute rage and hate.
Yeah, a lot of hate. I want to get revenge.
Yep.
I want to get I'm vengeful.
Mm-hmm. And it was. I was more than willing to throw absolute hate, no matter how good or funny it was, at the Talking Metal guys.
Well, but not
Or
only
at
that, but even in
Rev.
your own personal life,
Yeah,
you're
so I was miserable.
mending fences with your
Ex.
your family, your dad and your mom and your brother, who you literally had zero contact with for
12
over
years.
a decade.
Yeah, 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it took a lot. It took a ton for me to actually, in a way, I needed the divorce to kind of kick me in the ass to either, it really became shit or get off the pot time.
I agree.
And I thankfully wiped my ass and started moving. You know,
I mean, you know this to be the fact, and you know, I got pressure from family members, which you're aware of. It's like, why do you associate with him?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why do you associate with him? Why are you even involved with him? You know, and it's just like, because Chris is my friend. Chris is my friend. Well, I don't understand the friendship there. I don't get it.
Well, you don't need to.
That guy's horrible. He's a horrible person. You know, and I got that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I was just like, well, you don't choose and pick and choose my friends. You don't decide what I like or don't like, or what I can accept in my life or don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wasn't horrible when I was doing hookups, though, now was I?
No, not at all. Not at all. So,
it's always somebody that doesn't like you.
it doesn't matter. I don't.
It doesn't
care
matter.
anymore.
No.
I at this point, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like, look, if you don't like me, cool, whatever. Moving forward, because I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah. Well, I've had very good shit happen for me over the last decade, and I've shared it with you. You've profited from
absolutely
some of my good things that happened with me.
Absolutely.
And I share it with people who are deserving, and that's how it is.
Well, believe me, I always appreciate it, and I'm happy. I'm happy for you, not because it's happening, but because I was also your friend when you were on the other end of that pendulum, when you were fucking taking drunks to get their fucking pills at 7:00 in the morning, driving the cab or whatever, and you could not have been more miserable.
It was awful.
I couldn't even come in and help by doing the show to give you an ounce of peace, because I was going through my own hell with my ex.
Well, it's just the way that I look at it. It was fortunate that we were both going through our personal hell at the same time.
Yeah, that is true.
So we both got it out of the way at the same time, to where things kind of came back together after that was all over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's amazing. It really is, because this day, I mean, I'll just be honest. I don't think it's as good as it was in the day. I think it's good, but I mean, in the day, some of those segments, dude, are just fucking.
Because we were new and we were hungry and we were just trying to make it happen, and now we're
old.
Well, regardless of that, it's just we're at a point to where we're comfortable.
Yeah, and it's not as angry, and it's not as, there are no Sister Bertha bangers out there anymore. All that shit is kind of faded away, and and part of it is we're not surrounded by fucking weirdos either anymore.
True.
I mean, that was a big part of it is, when you're looking to Scott Clark for fucking, guidance, it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Nothing against Scott, but Jesus.
This is why somewhere down the road, I hope, and I don't know if you've had any success with this, but I would like to have Anthony Cumia on the show because he's in a place right now. He's not the crazy, wild, over-the-top disc jockey guy with the O&A show. He does his thing now. His compound media is a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And he does a show for 90 minutes Monday through Friday. He's not putting chicks in a 55-gallon barrel anymore.
No.
Or anything like that, but he's still entertaining to listen to.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. And that's kind of it's kind of like a parallel trajectory, if you will. Things for us, 20 years ago were different than they are today.
Yeah, I know. It's so
I think we're still entertaining.
Well, I think so too. I just think it's different.
It's not the same. It's not the same type of entertainment.
Yeah. We're not attacking anymore.
No.
We were always on the attack before.
And it was a different time because there were so many other people out there trying to do a show or do some kind of thing. And we were just like, yeah, well, you're not that good. We're going to show you why you're not that good.
Yeah. And we could still do that, but it's like,
what's the point?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at, almost 30 years later.
Oh,
it's like
crazy.
And you people still tune in, and I appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
I hope we still continue bringing you something that's relevant to your life. To Dan Pate. Is this a Love Me show? It is a Love Me show. Yep, it is a Love Me show.
That's an old schooler.
It is.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
But, here we go. Right here. It is the Love Me show after all.
I do want everybody to love me. Love me.
This definitely is a Love Me show.
The Classic Metal Show.
There you go.
That's one of the original bumpers.
That's one of the old ones.
Yeah, that's from the first days.
Yeah. But anyway, Sal, our good friend Sal, he actually texted me this week and he was just like, why is it that you and Chris want Anthony Cumia to be on the show so bad? You guys do good on your own. Why do you need him?
Well, we don't need him.
It's like, I don't need him. It's just like I want to pay tribute to somebody that both Chris and I have kind of, taken influence from.
That's one of the reasons we do this.
Yeah, because they kind of had the same mindset, or at least he did. And, he continues on even to this day. And we're just like, yeah, we're kind of running a parallel course in some regard.
No.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. How do you say that?
Kamikaze crush?
Kamikaze crush? Yeah, no one understands, and I get that. And trust me, I don't understand. I have my own thoughts on that. I don't buy into any specific line or, well, you need to believe this way or whatever. It's like, well, why? Why do you believe that way? So, I'm going to share a little inside baseball here.
Sure.
And if my nephew is listening, forgive me if I'm stepping out of line here, but my sister passed away a little over 2 years ago.
Right.
And her husband is, he's still sorting it all out, as it were.
Sure.
And because of the interference with so many people who feel or believe that they're lending some kind of comforting thoughts or prayers or whatever, he's distanced himself from a lot of that because he feels that they're meddling. It's
Right.
like, well, you should get involved with this group and you should, take solace in this and you should, and he's basically like, why don't you just leave me alone?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm sorting this
Working it
all out
out,
for
right.
myself, and I have my grief and whatever the case may be. But they were married for 50 years.
Oof,
My brother-in-law and my sister were married for 50 years when she passed away. But he's sorting it all out, and he's dealing with it the way that he believes he needs to deal with it. But so many people want to interject
Yeah.
what they believe he should be doing. Well, you should join some kind of a grief counseling, and you should, attend church, and you should do that. And it's like, you know what? That's not for me. That's not what I want to do.
Yeah. I think whenever you go through anything, I think the intention is good,
Yeah, I believe that. I believe the intention is good.
but the people that are throwing those ideas out should really look at their own life first. Because if I can point at whatever's nasty in your life and say, well, maybe you should be doing that, and it pisses you off, then maybe you shouldn't be throwing that fucking same shade back at me.
Right.
And that's right. The people that are coming at your what would he be? Your former brother-in-law? Your brother-in-law?
He's my brother-in-law.
Yeah. People are throwing advice at your brother-in-law. They might be in shitty relationships too, but God forbid he says, well, maybe you should go to counseling because you think your wife's a cunt.
Right.
He says that, and they'll be like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, what the fuck is wrong with you telling me what I got to do to fix my life? I'm fixing it my way.
My nephew revealed to me that some of the people who were, quote unquote, interjecting their thoughts, unsolicited, by the way, said, well, you should join this grief counseling group.
Oh, good.
But it's being led by someone who never lost a spouse.
Oh, well, then they know everything, obviously.
That's the point. It's just like, so what am I going to learn from someone who's never faced this before?
I don't think you understand. They got a 3.8 in their college reading about it.
Exactly. So the message here is that unfortunately or fortunately, we're all left to our own devices.
Yeah.
We have to find our own path. It's kind of like water. Water finds its own level. So what's right for me is not necessarily right for you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
that's a lot of reflection this week, and again, I don't want to bring this show down. So we got about 10-15 minutes. So Can you bring us some haha, Chris? Can you bring us end us on a high note to where we don't think if I have any down? I know we're talking about a lot of personal shit. But this personal shit is something that I think all of us, especially in our demographic, we've all dealt with in one way or another. And that's the only thing. We kind of like hopefully connect or bring you something that it's just like, wow, look at this.
That's a page.
Wow, look at that. Let's see. Let me read this verbatim.
All right.
Gentlemen, one of the best things about this show is at least we could all have a discussion. This is fucked up world. Fucked up world is so sided on every fucking thing and issues we all know. Granted, we are all never going to agree on everything, and we all have our own beliefs and our own stances on whatever issue or topic, but capitalized, at least we can have a discussion without shooting or canceling out one another. Well, Jerry C., you're canceled. Chris, ban him immediately.
All right, he's off the screen. Get out of here!
I don't want your opinion, Jerry C. My opinion is the only one that counts.
That's right.
And that goes for you, Chris. I don't care what your thoughts are. Your opinion doesn't count either.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Just ask your sister.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, is that we all have things that are relatable. My issues or my relatable things don't necessarily line up with yours, vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't. But we all need a little shelter, as Tom Kiefer once sang in Cinderella.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Honestly, that's what's the best part about it. Anytime everybody just flat out agrees, it's always fucking awful because that's boring. Who wants to listen to a show where everything they say is exactly what you think?
Well, the status quo is just boring.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the status quo. It doesn't rock the boat. It's not issue driven. It's not controversial. It's, it's status quo. It's just like, oh, okay, well, it's unthreatening. There's nothing here that I need to worry about.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at.
Yepper.
So no ha-has on your
I
end?
really don't have ha-has. The only story I had was not really a ha-ha. It's just kind of a continuation of something we started, I think, last week. Was it last week we talked about fucking Nikki Sixx?
Probably 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can end with this. Whatever.
All right.
So, as I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong because I barely remember, but we were talking about specifically Nikki Sixx and the reaction to Dogs of War and how he just cannot admit that he recorded a shitty song. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he basically just said, we're not going to record a new record because it's just not the right time. And the fans are not receptive and blah, blah, blah. Just more or less making up excuses for why Dogs of War was just a complete failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's back in the news talking about Dogs of War.
Okay.
And the mixed response to it, and they're calling it mixed response. I don't know anybody that thought it was good. I know one guy, Tim James. Everybody else thought it was shit.
Well, he was the outlier.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nikki, of course, cannot take that it is a mixed response. His response is, let me put this on the screen. You're going to laugh when you hear the statement because it's so fucking pathetic. His response is, everybody is turned into a critic. Shut your fucking mouth. Everybody has always been a critic of you, musician guy.
Yeah, because as soon as they buy an album and they talk with their friends, they all go, yeah, this wasn't quite what I thought I was looking for from Motley Crue. I thought that they would go heavier or whatever the case may be. So everyone's always been a critic.
Yeah.
It's just that they have the interweb to voice their criticism.
Mm-hmm. So in now we come with what I feel are yet more lies from one Mr. Nikki Sixx.
Okay.
In a new interview with so-and-so of the Swedish radio station so-and-so, Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx addressed his recent quote-unquote tongue-in-cheek comment that the new music from his band has been described as a powerful cross between country and hip-hop.
I didn't get that at all, but okay.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. And I didn't get it when he said it, and I cringed when he said it.
Okay.
He's now saying that it was a bad joke. I'm saying he said it to try and to move fucking product. That people thought it was going to be the new sound of Motley Crue. I think he was just running his fucking mouth. Now he's saying it was a joke.
Oh, was it? Was it a joke?
Well, here's his statement. When we were doing some interviews, when we were getting ready to drop the single, I said to Tommy, I said, because we kept getting asked that question about the sound of the new Crew music. And I said, man, I'm the most sarcastic human being I know. And that sometimes doesn't always come across in a tweet or something. And I said, we got so much media because it was such a lark, such a weird thing that was a joke. I'm like, God, that's really kind of fucked up to where we're at today. No media checked. Nobody called our office and said, what's going on? I hear they got new music. It sounds like country and hip hop. I'm going to stop there. So ultimately, the media has to check his dumb statements now. We have to verify that he's not lying. Is that what he's saying here?
Yeah, we got to fact check. We got to run it through Snopes.
Yeah, so somebody needs to fact check when he puts out a tweet talking about his own music and what it sounds like. Somebody else needs to fact check that before they print what he printed. Is that what he's saying?
Well, I guess it's just sort of a way to say, I'm not lying about this, folks.
Yeah. I think he said something stupid and he got called for it. And as is always the case with Mr. Sixx here, he can't just admit he fucked up. He can't. He won't. He's not taking any of the blame. He said this. He literally said it. He put it out. I don't want to hear about people don't understand the fucking motivation of a tweet or whatever. Then don't do it when you're promoting, you dick. He literally said this was put out in the interviews. Did he not just say that?
He did.
So in the interviews, he put it out. And somebody has to, fact check that when they're doing an interview? Hey, I just did an interview with Nikki Sixx. Let me call up 7-Eleven, or what is the company? 11 Music or whatever. Let me call them up to see if this guy was lying to me the whole time in his interview to promote his own fucking music. That's what Nikki thinks we're supposed to do here, right?
Well, is this what the White House is calling a cheap fake?
Yeah.
Let's make sure they're not cheap faking me as Nikki Sixx, because let's just make sure what it is that you're, quoting me as saying is real.
Yeah. You said it, Dick. I mean, everybody at the label and management company would have just started laughing. Well, you did the interview, dummy. You put it out there. Why would they not trust you promoting your own music? Why would fans not trust you promoting your own music?
Because it might be the AI Nikki Sixx. We saw how convincing that is. It could be right? The AI Nikki Sixx.
Yeah. Well, here's where it gets good. They would have gone, the label would have gone, you fell for one of Nikki's jokes. But the irony is, isn't that how people get pressed now? People just love negativity, and I find it interesting. I don't want to play into it, except now you're saying you did. To be honest with you, that was just a fun one. People run with whatever they think they can get some juice off, and it's okay. Hey, if you're talking about our band, that's a good thing, negative or positive. I don't believe he believes that 1 ounce.
Nope.
Because he's not wired to take any criticism. But now it gets even better. Regarding the mixed response to Dogs of War from the Motley Crue fans, Nikki said, we liked the fact that there was kind of a knee-jerk reaction because at least people were listening. It's a very strange time now where, whether it's a news cycle or socials, everybody has turned into a critic. And I always say they've never erected a statue of a critic. It's never happened, right? It's always the artist. But now everybody's a critic. So within a short amount of time, we love it, we hate it, you're over, you reinvented yourself. It sounds like shout at the devil. It sucks. And we're just kind of sit there and go, that's cool, guys, but we didn't really ask for any input from you. We're just artists writing music, and we're pretty cool. I'm happy with it. I like it.
Really?
Then why didn't you just keep it for yourself?
Yeah. You wrote that? You wrote Dogs of War? You didn't let AI write it for you and do AI video and all this other bullshit that was released?
Yeah. I'm just talking more to the point of he doesn't love it. He wants fans to like it. If everybody said this is the best, if the overwhelming response was this is the best thing since Kickstart My Heart, would he be saying, well, I don't care what people think?
No.
He'd be saying, man, I'm so glad you guys all dig the tune.
Of course.
But since most people don't dig the tune, now it's, well, everybody's crabbing. Everybody's crying about it. Everybody's whining. Everybody's always been a critic. That's the nature of your business that you're in there, Nick.
Everybody's always been a critic. You just didn't hear from them because there was no such thing as the interweb before, during the heyday of Motley Crue.
Yeah. If you put out Dogs of War back in the heyday, you would have heard the same critical reaction that you got to the 94 record. No one would have bought it. When no one bought the 94 record, that was the fans responding. That was the fans being a critic.
Yeah, they criticize with their lack of funds or their lack of money.
But now it's all free, so they go to social media and say, this is a bag of shit. Which it is. This guy can never... The best answer he could have given was, you know what? We tried something different. It didn't work for most fans. That's the best answer he could give.
Yeah.
At least that's honest. So now you're going to castigate everybody that thought that your shitty song was shitty?
Yeah.
Dick.
This was perfect genius. You just don't realize it, God damn it.
Yeah. This guy is so up his own ass.
Well, again, we can't acknowledge our failures.
No. And he never has. Never on anything. Even the 94 record. He just pretends it doesn't exist, and when pressed on, he says, well, fucking Krabby. Couldn't work with him.
Yeah. He was the weak link.
Yeah. He wasn't a good guitar player. He wasn't a good writer. Meanwhile, he's been able to write in every other band he's been in. Somehow he wrote well in The Scream. Somehow he writes well in The Dead Daisies. Somehow he wrote really well in Union. But that moment that he got with you, he fucking forgot how to do it. Shut your fucking mouth. Go unplug your bass and go on tour again, Dick. Jeez, oh man. He's annoying, man.
Well, he blocked us on the Twitter.
Well, so what?
That was just kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
That you put out some kind of Twitter tweet or some shit years ago, and he blocked you.
Yeah, he blocked us.
He blocked the CMS.
He blocked the CMS on Twitter.
Yeah. We were blocked by Nikki Sixx. That's our claim to fame. We were blocked by Frank.
It's a badge of honor, man. We were blocked by Motley Crue.
Yeah, man. Frank blocked us.
We're so offended.
We're not allowed to comment on Motley Crue because Frank blocked us.
We're not allowed to be honest about Motley Crue.
No.
I'd imagine we'd be unblocked if we were like, you know what? Dogs of War was fucking fantastic. What a great song. Best Motley Crue since Shout at the Devil. Get out of here. This guy just needs to hear fucking praise. And when he doesn't hear it, it's because everybody's doing something wrong, not because he did anything wrong. You know, there's a million people that think you did something wrong. There's the four of you that are swearing that you did something right. I wonder who's right. Monster.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up another edition of the Classic Metal Show.
Yeah, there we go. Ended kind of weird, but okay.
Well, it ended up with Motley hate.
Yeah, I'm for Motley Hate.
Not Motley Crue, Motley Hate.
Motley Hate, yeah.
Yeah. All right, since you brought up the Motley Crue self-titled with John Corabi on lead vocal, I'll let you pick a tune to take us out of the show.
All right, I will dedicate this one actually to our friend Mean Metal X, who me and him were talking about that record just today.
Yeah, Mean Metal X has been a fan since he was a fucking teenager.
Yes, now he's a brilliant scientist or whatever.
He is. He's like professor. He's like the professor on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, he is. Hopefully he's smarter than that. Hopefully he's not sitting there with a coconut and a fucking screwdriver trying to make
he figured out how to make a coconut into a radio receiver.
Right.
Or a radar.
Yeah, exactly. With just a coconut and a screwdriver.
Yeah, he's got a coconut, a grapevine, and a screwdriver.
Yeah,
from the SS Minnow, which is kind of stupid because SS means steamship.
Yeah,
I don't think the SS Minnow was a steamship.
No, it wasn't even. It was just a fucking boat. It's a fishing boat.
I'm just gonna blow your mind here that the SS Minnow is kind of stupid because SS stands for steamship. If you weren't aware of that,
people didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I'm just making you aware.
There you go.
So
Thanks.
it was just the Minnow. It wasn't the SS Minnow. I'm sure it wasn't a steam-driven engine.
No, probably not.
It probably had a Detroit diesel 7, like a inline 71 or something.
Right.
Something stupid.
Yep, probably.
All right. So what do you want to dedicate to Mean Metal X, who's been a 30-plus year fan of the CMS?
Well, he told me today his favorite song on that record is Poison Apples.
Really?
So we will go with Poison Apples to get out of here.
Okay. And how did that conversation even come up?
I think he might have bought my book.
Okay.
I think he might have read my Motley book. Because I'm doing a site for his business.
Okay.
And we were going back and forth on finishing it up. And then there was like and P.S., the Motley album, I love it. And,
Really?
And here's the song that I'm hooked on right now. And, so then we were throwing emails back and forth about, well, Misunderstood is my jam. But
really?
Yeah, I mean, we were just chatting. So
okay.
Two girls just chatting.
Again, bombing onto my fans and my friends.
Got to steal them when I see them.
You do. And you profit from them as well.
That's damn right. Damn right.
I hate you, Chris. God damn it. All right.
Join the other Neelys that hate me.
All right. We're going to get out of here. We'll be back next week, hopefully. God willing.
Yes, please.
And we will hopefully entertain you next Saturday. So we're going to get out of here. So have a safe and enjoyable week. So this is Neeley along with my very good friend,
Chris Agan.
And we're gone.
Bye, kids. Hey, it's Chris Aiken from Chris Aiken Presents, The Classic Metal Show, and The Seth Williams Show. Now, we know it's frustrating to have to use this website for videos, that website for podcasts, and still another for the live shows. Well, let's end that shit right now. Get the Locals app and get it all in one place. This is free, folks. You don't have to pay to get most of the great content that we're doing. Like I said, it is free. On your phone or device, just go to locals.com in your iOS or Google Play Store, install it, and create an account. Open the app, surf to the search from the bottom, and type in Classic Metal Show. Then click Join. That's it.
Once you join, you can click on the triangle button at the bottom, and you can select from videos, live streams, both past and active, or podcasts. Watch and listen right there. When a stream is live, you can participate in the chat right from that screen if you choose. If you want our exclusive content, just click support when you visit the Classic Metal Show community. It's simple, and it's the best way to stay engaged with all of my shows, so sign up today.